Hi everyone, I want to thank you for joining Moresteam's first EngineRoom FastCast, tips and tricks to becoming a power user. My name is Gabe Turk. I'm the Retail Accounts Marketing Manager at Moresteam. Okay, so today's agenda starts with interface navigation. Then we're going to move into uploading and using data. And then we're going to get into exporting studies, charts, and data. And then we're going to close with sharing projects and accessing EngineRoom's help tutorials and there are other help resources that we have within EngineRoom. So with that, the first thing that I want to move into is signing into EngineRoom. So everyone can sign into their account at moresteam.com. When you hit View My Account, you'll see a list of maybe any courses you're enrolled in. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll see EngineRoom and an Open Application in green. So if you hit Open Application, that's going to launch EngineRoom for you. I've already opened it. Kind of wanted to make this like a cooking show for everyone. So here's EngineRoom. What we're looking at here is the home screen. So this is where all of your projects are going to be stored, and it's also where you can open up new projects. So you'll see here on the left, I have a host of different projects I've opened, and underneath all of the names of them, it'll show me the last time that I'd opened up that particular project. I can start a new project by clicking the gray New Project button at the bottom left. Once I'm there, the first thing that I would want to do is rename my project by clicking in the very top left. Just type in my new project. So I can type in there and click off, and now this name is automatically saved. I'm going to hit the Projects button at the very bottom left here to sign out to get back to my home screen. You'll see that the new project that I created is here in the top left, where it says this is my new project. So to open up a past project or any project that you'd like to, click on it from the Projects panel on the left. Okay, so first we're going to go over some of the general navigation for EngineRoom. So the left area here is where all of your data sources are going to be stored. This is where you're going to upload spreadsheets and also create your own spreadsheets within EngineRoom, and you can also manipulate your data within the spreadsheets. The very top, in the middle, you're going to see a list of all the different tools, and it's laid out in a DMAIC framework. You can cursor over to get a pop-out menu of that particular phase's tools, or if you'd like to, there's a search bar here where you could search for a specific tool, and it'll give you a list of results. So if I wanted to open up a multiple regression tool, for instance, I could start typing in multiple, and any of the tools that involve that word are going to pop open here, and I can click them to open them. As I open up certain tools from this DMAIC toolbar, they're going to populate into my Studies panel on the right. So these are automatically going to save for you. You don't have to click save or anything like that. They'll automatically generate here. And at the very top, there's settings, feedback, help, and log out. So those are some other areas where you can find help or you can share projects, things like that. But we're going to touch on that towards the end of this webcast. So with that, I want to get into using some of these features that I just quickly glossed over. So on this left-hand side, this is where we're going to upload all of our data. I have two spreadsheets that I've already uploaded, but I want to show you how we can upload new spreadsheets and create our own. So there's two methods. You can hit the upload button, and that'll allow you to access your files off of your computer, select a spreadsheet, hit open, and it'll populate that spreadsheet for us right here in the data sources area. Another method to get a new data source is by hitting this plus button. So when I hit this plus button, you'll see that this new data source opened up. With any data source that's in this data sources area, I can click it and drag it to the right to open it up and see here that you'll have a fresh spreadsheet. So I can create a new spreadsheet by using this new data source. I can type in the header column at the very top and then let the data follow directly underneath it. I can also rename any of my data sources in the same way that we rename the project by clicking here. If I wanted to save this, any changes that I've made to this spreadsheet, I'm going to go to the very bottom right and hit Save Changes. That'll save my changes, and now these are all going to be within this new Rename Your Data source. I'm going to close out of that with the X here. So in the same way that I edited that fresh spreadsheet, there's something else that you can do within EngineRoom. It'll allow you to copy and paste information to and from Microsoft Excel, or if you use Google Sheets, any of those other applications. So I'll show you how that's going to work. I can open up a spreadsheet here, and let's say I want to take information from a spreadsheet that I got in an email and put it into EngineRoom. What I would do, I'll minimize this so I can show you my Microsoft Excel. I can go into Excel and select any of the data that I want to. So let's say I want to take all of this data. I can hit Control C, or I can right click and hit copy to copy that data. Go back into EngineRoom. Select this very top area so that my columns are aligned, and paste in that data. Now you'll see everything that was in the spreadsheet is now within EngineRoom spreadsheet. I can save these changes, and all that data is going to exist there now. So if I want to use this data, what I'm going to want to do is click the data source once. You're going to see that I'm going to get a pop-out menu, and it's going to have all of these different hexagons with names. And within the hexagons are going to be different icons. So when there's an ABC within a hexagon, I'm going to know that I'm going to have categorical information. If I have a clock within a hexagon, I know that that's going to be time order oriented information. And then if I have these data bars, I'm going to know that it's numeric information. Also, you'll see that all of the titles of those particular columns that were in my data sheet are going to be right under that icon. If you wanted to quickly preview that data, that particular column, you can cursor over it and you're going to get a pop-out menu, and that'll allow you to look at the min, max, mean, standard deviation, and Anderson-Darling p-value for that particular column's data. What we're going to do is take these different pieces of information, and we're going to drag and drop them onto studies from our top menu that we were looking at here. So for instance, I'm going to open up a control chart. Open up an X and moving range chart. You'll see within this there's going to be these drop zones. This is where we're going to place different hexagons in order to get a statistical output. So you'll see here it says data variable. So I'm going to take a piece of my data, click it, drag it, and drop it into that area. EngineRoom will do some thinking and then populate a chart based on that data that we placed in. If I wanted to put a time order variable, I could do that as well. Just click my fiscal year hexagon, drop it. And now you'll see the x-axis is populated with all of those dates that were within the data source that I placed here. Again, I'm going to want to rename this study so that way I can access it later and know exactly what I was talking about. So we'll call this fiscal year revenue control chart. Click off, and now that's saved. Okay, now I want to move into the different ways that you can export the information within EngineRoom. So maybe you wanted to take a chart like we have here and put it into a PowerPoint presentation, or maybe you wanted to take all of this information and print it as a PDF or print it to your printer. Starting with this chart, you'll see at the very top of the charts there's going to be a snapshot button. If I click that snapshot button, this red bar is going to turn around. When that's turned around, I can right-click my chart, and I can save my image or I can copy my image. If I choose copy, for instance, it'll copy my image for me. I could go into a PowerPoint now. And I can paste my chart. So it's a really quick way to prepare presentation charts. Perhaps you wanted to get all of this information that's within this study and print it to a printer or print it to a PDF. You can do that via the print button that's going to be above all of the studies that you open. So if I hit print, it'll give me a different dialog box where I can change the orientation and what charts of the control chart that I created are going to appear. And I can hit print. From there, your native computer's print dialog box will open up. So you can change to either a printer, or if you want to change it to a PDF, you can print it as a PDF and save it to your computer. So that's another way that you can export your information from EngineRoom. Lastly, we were talking about changing the data that we have uploaded into EngineRoom. Maybe it's from an Excel that you had on your desktop. Well, in order to keep your data square, you want to keep everything the same that's within EngineRoom and also on your desktop. You're going to want to open up a certain spreadsheet that you've maybe made some changes from. If I hit the export button at the very top right, it'll allow me to export this to Excel. You'll see here at the very bottom, it's now downloading it for me. So I can open up this spreadsheet with any changes that I've made outside of EngineRoom that way. Lastly, I want to move into the settings area where we're going to talk about sharing projects, and then the help area as well. And again, just want to remind you, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in at any time, and I'll get to those during the question and answers portion of this FastCast. So in order to share a project, because EngineRoom's web-based, you're able to work on projects with other coworkers of yours without having to send an email or anything like that. So the way that would work is if I go up to the settings area in the very top right, you'll see it says sharing preferences right here. What I can do is click this box here to get a drop down of all of the people within my company, or I could type somebody's name. So if I wanted to share this with Bill Hathaway, who's the president, I could start typing Bill, his name pops up, I select him, and Bill Hathaway now appears here. So this project is now shared with him. The way he's going to know that this project is shared with him is via the home screen. So I'm going to go back to projects, the very first screen that we looked at. You'll see here that there are several different icons with the different projects that I have. Some are open gears, some are gears with people within them. When there's a gear with people within them, that's a shared project. So on Bill's EngineRoom now, he's going to see FastCast Session 1 as one of his potential projects that he could get into. One thing to note, though, in order to control the workflow of shared projects, only one person can be in a project at a time while you're working on a project. However, if someone is in a project that you want to get into, you would see a gear with people within it and an X over them. You're still able to click it, and a dialog box will pop up asking you if you want to bump them out of that project or not. So that's one way that you can still get into projects in case somebody left their desktop open overnight or something like that. So I'll go back into our project, and the last thing I want to touch on is the help menu and some of the help resources. So next to settings, you're going to see a help tab. I'm going to open up the help tab, and on the left is where I can get to different pieces of information. So I can search for tutorials if I want to by clicking and searching for whatever term I may be thinking of, or more frequently, you may just go straight to tutorials. Click tutorials again, and there's going to be a list of video tutorials that you can watch for all the different studies that are inside of EngineRoom. Also within these, within these, there's going to be descriptions of how to use some of the tools. So that's another way that you can kind of figure out which tools you want to use and how to use them within EngineRoom. So I know that was quick, but I'm within my 15 minutes. So I want to thank everyone for joining EngineRoom's first FastCast. There's going to be more to come. We'll send another email invite for when those are going to start. I don't see any questions here that have been asked. So if you want to ask anything offline, feel free to email me at gturk@moresteam.com. Let me get to that here so you can see my email address. gturk@moresteam.com. Feel free to send me an email, and I can help you out with any questions that you might have. So again, thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.